Alright guys, so this is page 3 of the Piecewise packet that we've been working on, and we went over these top ones in class, or at least we answered questions, those of you that had questions, but those answers are there if you need to pause and just check because maybe you didn't do them initially. Alright, so f of -1 says x equals -1, so I need to figure out where that goes. So -1 is actually in between -5 and 0. So I'm going to use this second piece. So -1 is in between -5 and 0. So that's why I know I'm going to grab this piece. So x squared minus 3x, -1 squared minus 3 times -1. -1 squared is 1. -3 times -1 is 3. 1 plus 3 is 4. Okay, next one. X equals 4. So 4 is not less than or equal to -5. It's not in between those. It's greater than 0. So I'm going to look at x4 minus 7. So 4 to the 4th minus 7. 4 to the 4th is 256 minus 7 gives me 249. Okay, x equals -10. Well, -10 is less than -5, so I'm going to grab this first piece. So 3 over x plus 4 is where I'm going to substitute this value in. 3 over -10 plus 4 gives me 3 over -6, which is -1/2. F of 0 means x equals 0. So 0 is less than or equal to 0. So that's this piece, x squared minus 3x. So 0 squared minus 3 times 0, 0 minus 0, 0. Okay, now down here, this is a little more complicated. So we have to do 2 times the value of f of 0. So f of 0 we just got here is 0. So 2 times 0 plus 3 times the value of f of 4, which is right here. That's 249. So 2 times 0 is 0. 3 times 249 is 747. So we get 747. Okay, let's go to number 4. So number 4 says x is 5. This one has 4 pieces. So if I have x equals 5, 5 is greater than or equal to 3. So I'm going to plug this into 1/3 x plus 8. So I'd have 1/3 times 5 plus 8. So that actually gives you 29/3. Okay, so 29/3, I'd rather you leave it as that improper, but if you want to, you can put it in your calculator and you'd get 9.67. F of 1, so 1 is less than or equal to 1, so that's going to go into the second part. 1 plus x squared would be 1 plus 1 squared, so 1 plus 1 gives me 2. F of -4, -4 is less than or equal to -4, so I'm going to use this first part. Absolute value of 2x plus 7. So the absolute value of 2 times -4 plus 7 gives me, oops, that's an absolute value of -8 plus 7, absolute value of -1. So how far is -1 from 0? That would be 1. So it might get confusing where my work is. So x equals 2. 2 is in between 1 and 0. So we want to plug it into this third piece. The third piece does not have any x, so your answer is just constantly 6. This is actually called y equals just a number. In this case, y is 6, remember, is your constant function. Okay, so now we have a complex one again. This time we do not have these values already, so I'm just going to figure out what f of 0 is. So 0 is going to go in between here. So 1 plus 0 squared, I'm sorry, this should be pink. 1 plus 0 squared would give you 1. So we'd have 2 times that 1 plus 3, f of -6. So -6 is going to be here in that less than or equal to -4. So I'm going to do 2 times -6 plus 7. That's -12 plus 7 gives me -5. How far is -5 from 0? 5. minus 4, f of 3, and 3 would be greater than or equal to 3. So I'm going to do this third piece, 1/3 times 3 plus 8. A third of 3 is 1 plus 8 would give me 9. So 2 times 1 is 2, 3 times 5 is 15, 4 times 9 is 36. So 2 plus 7 minus 2 plus 5 is 7 minus 36 should give me a negative 19. And I'm checking my answers here, and I don't know why that would be. Should be a negative 29, y'all. I'm sorry. All right, I'm going to move on and try to pick up the pace. I might have to do another video for page 4. So we have 1. F of negative 1 means I'm going x to negative 1. Hits right here, that's 0. And that's actually in the pink spot. So if my colors are bothering you, that should be this section of the line. F of 2 would give me to this green section. So I go where x, that's the horizontal line here, is 2, and read my y, which is 1. F of 1 hits pink and green, but that's open. Open means do not include that one. So it would just be this one. So again, it's 1. F of negative 2, if I go to negative 2, similarly, I see these 2 points, but it says do not include that one since it's open. So this one's just negative 1. And then F of 0, so I'm going to go to where x is 0. That would also be 1. Okay, let's go to the last one. F of negative 3. So negative 3 is in this yellow part because x of negative 3 is right here. It hits my line here, which I can read is negative 3. F of 4 would be over here. So if I look for my line, it's in the green section. So that would be 4. F of 1 is in both the pink and green. This is where it overlaps. So when I would be writing my domain, I'd have to just pick which one it would go into. So either way, graphically, this is going to be 1. But I could have written it in pink if you're staying with the numbers. Okay, F of negative 1 is non-existent because the only thing there is an empty hole. So I just say does not exist for that one. X of 0 leads me to this pink section. Here's where x is 0, and that would be 1. Okay, page 4. So I did not color coordinate this page because honestly, I'm sure you guys are getting sick of it. So x of 3, I'm going to go to 3. That gives me 2. F of negative 1, go to negative 1. That's an open circle, so don't include that. So I see a point down here. We can just estimate that's about negative 2.3-ish. F of negative 3. X of negative 3, go down, negative 3. X of 2, right here. Find your line here, so that's 1. F of 0.5. So I'm going to go halfway between 0 and 1 and find my line, and that brings me to 2. One more like this. So x of negative 4 is right here. The only point I see is actually on that x-axis, so the y there is 0. F of 1, I see 2 points, but this one's open, so I only want to use that, so that's 1. F of 3, again, is an x-intercept, so that's 0. F of 2, 1 open, do not include that, so it's just this one, which is negative 1. F of 1.5, so if I go to halfway between 1 and 2, I get this, which is negative 2. All right, when you graph, you want to make sure that you use pencil. So where did my pencil just go? I'm blind. Okay, so we have y equals 2x plus 3 and y equals 1/2 x minus 1. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, because that's my y-intercept, up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1. You should be really good at graphing linear lines at this point because we've been working on them for a while. Now this says x less than or equal to 0. So here's where x is 0. I just want the less than part. So that would be the negatives, -1, -2, and then I want to erase everything that's greater than 0 or the right side. I want to make sure this is a solid circle because it does include it. That's the or equal to. All right, other piece is -1. So I go down 1, up 1 over 2, up 1 over 2, up 1 over 2, up 1 over 2. Okay, so there's all of these are solid right now. So you can imagine the line going here. I'm not going to draw it all the way because I know I just want the numbers greater than 0. So I'm going to erase everything to the left of 0. And I'm going to make this an open circle and just make my line go to the right of where x is 0. Number 10, so y equals -1/3 x minus 1. So I'm going to go down 1 over 3, down 1 over 3, or I could go up 1, left 3, up 1, left 3. Okay, so here's this line. X is less than 3, so 1, 2, 3 would be right here, or equal to. So I'm going to make this a solid circle, and I want to take the line to the left and erase everything to the right. F of x equals 2 is y equals 2. Hoy. So when y equals just a number, or you might want to think of this as y equals no x plus 2. So for this one, I know I'm going to have a horizontal line with 0 slope. So I'm going to go up to 1, 2, and just draw a horizontal line. So only for the numbers greater than 3. So 1, 2, 3 is going to be an open circle there. And then I want to go to the right and erase everything else. Okay, so this one is not in correct form, so you can just rewrite it. This is the mx plus b. So I'm going to start 1, 2, 3, 4, down 1 over 1, down 1 over 1. Okay, so there's my line. And now I want to look at the domain. My domain tells me I just want the numbers less than 2. So 1, 2. I don't want anything to the right of that because I want less than left, and I want this to be open. So I'm going to do an open circle, and then I'm just going to make sure I have a nice line here. All right, y equals 2x minus 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, up. I lost my point. Sorry. 1, 2. All right, so I have this big line. And now I want the numbers greater than or equal to 2. So at 2, I'm going to put a solid circle. All of these are solid. And I just want to go to the right. Anything to the left is going to get erased. Okay, number 12, y equals 2/3 x plus 3. 1, 2, 3. Up 2 over 3. Up 2 over 3. I could go down 2, left 3, down 2, left 3, or if you had a nice ruler, that would be helpful. X is less than or equal to 0, so at 0, I'm going to leave a nice solid point, and less than means to the left, because these are the numbers, -1, -2, all the way to -infinity that are less than 0. Y equals 3. That's my Hoy again. So I'm going to go up 3, 1, 2, 3, which actually hits that other line. And it's going to be this horizontal line. So this point is going to actually overlap in each, which means if I put 0 into this first equation, 2/3 times 0, I'm going to get my second piece. So they're going to end up overlapping. So you can't have like an open circle and then a closed circle. This closed circle overtakes the open circle. Okay, so this is going to be from 0 to just 2. So at 2, I'm going to stop, and since there's not an or equal to, 2 is going to be an open circle. And then I just want to make sure everything else is erased there. Okay, so right now I have this line, a solid circle, and then an open circle. All right, last piece for here is -1/2 x. So I might want to put plus 0 just in case I don't see my y-intercept. So I'm going to start at 0, down 1 over 2, down 1 over 2, down 1 over 2, down 1 over 2. So if I look at my domain here, greater than or equal to 2. So at 2, which is this point, I'm going to make a solid circle. I'm going to erase everything to the left and keep everything to the right. Okay, last one, because these are review that we haven't touched and won't be on your quiz, so we're not going to do those algebra skills right now. F of -1, x equals -1. -1's right here, so I'm going to just look at where it crosses the x. The y, sorry, that would be 3. My y-intercept is where does this hit the y-axis? That's the point 0, 2. It's always helpful if you write y-intercepts and x-intercepts as full points because they're actually points. All right, this one's tricky. So notice the 1 is not in the parentheses. This one actually says that y is 1. So now I'm going to start on my y-axis and look for my function. And there's actually 3 times that y is 1. So when x is -3, y is 1. When x is 1, y is 1. And when x is 3, y is 1. So there's 3 of those. X-intercept, where does this hit the x-axis? -4, 0, right here is on the x-axis, and right here, and 2, 0. Those are my points. Okay, hope that helps. Have a great day.